The ultimatum. The grand chamber of the galactic conclave fell silent as the massive doors swung open. Ambassador Elena Reyes of Earth strode in, her steps echoing against the polished obsidian floor. The assembled alien dignitaries watched with a mixture of curiosity and disdain as the human representative approached the central podium. Reyes' face remained impassive, but her eyes burned with an intensity that made even the most stoic of the alien delegates shift uncomfortably in their seats. She took her place at the center of the room, surrounded by beings from 1,000 worlds, each more ancient and advanced than humanity. Esteemed members of the Galactic Conclave, Reyes began, her voice steady and clear. I come before you today not as a supplicant, but as a harbinger. A murmur rippled through the chamber. The Zaxxar representative, a being of shimmering energy, leaned forward. Speak plainly, human. What message do you bring? Reyes' gaze swept across the room, meeting the eyes, optical sensors, and various sensory organs of each delegate. For too long, humanity has endured your condescension, your exploitation, and your thinly veiled threats. We came to you in peace, offering friendship and cooperation. In return, you saw fit to treat us as children, unworthy of a place among the stars. The Valerians, a race of towering insectoids, chittered in amusement. And what would you have us do, young ones? Grant you technologies you are not ready for, allow you to expand unchecked. We ask for nothing, Reyes replied, her voice taking on a dangerous edge. We are done asking. We are done pleading. We are done being pawns in your cosmic game. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of protests and exclamations. Reyes raised her hand, and to the surprise of many, the room fell silent once more. Humanity has watched and waited as you've stripped our colonies of resources, blockaded our trade routes, and interfered in our internal affairs. You thought us weak, divided, and easily manipulated. You were wrong. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. This is not a negotiation. This is not a threat. This is a promise. If you continue to stand in our way, if you persist in your efforts to keep us shackled and subservient, then know this: your worlds will burn. Gasps and cries of outrage filled the air. The Praxian delegate, a being of living crystal, shattered and reformed in agitation. You dare threaten the conclave. You, whose civilization has barely left its cradle. Reyes' expression remained unchanged. We dare because, unlike you, we have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You've backed us into a corner, and now you'll learn what humanity does when we have no other choice. She reached into her pocket and produced a small, unremarkable device. With a press of a button, holographic displays flickered to life around the chamber, showing images that made even the most hardened of the alien delegates recoil. These are the weapons we've developed in secret, Reyes explained, her voice devoid of emotion. Antimatter bombs capable of reducing planets to asteroid fields. Nanite swarms that can strip entire civilizations of their technology in hours. Wormhole destabilizers that can cut off your precious hyperlanes. The Aronian Patriarch, oldest and wisest of the conclave members, rose from his seat. This is madness, Ambassador Reyes. You speak of galactic war, of destruction on an unimaginable scale. Surely, we can find a peaceful peace. Reyes interrupted, her composure finally cracking. We tried peace. We extended our hands in friendship, and you slapped them away. Now we extend our fists, and you will learn to respect them. She turned off the holographic display and pocketed the device. You have one standard galactic week to withdraw all forces from human-controlled space, to lift all sanctions and trade restrictions, and to formally recognize Earth as a sovereign power with all the rights and privileges thereof. The chamber erupted once more, but Reyes' voice cut through the chaos like a plasma torch through hull plating. If these demands are not met, we will consider it an act of war. And make no mistake, it will be a war unlike any you have ever seen. We may be young, we may be fewer in number, but we will fight with a ferocity that will shake the very foundations of your millennia-old empires." As she turned to leave, the XR-Lex representative called out, "And if we refuse? If we unite against you?" Rise paused at the door, looking back over her shoulder. "Then your worlds will burn, just as I promised. And from the ashes, humanity will rise to claim its rightful place among the stars." With that, she exited the chamber, leaving behind a stunned silence that seemed to stretch across the galaxy itself. As the doors closed behind her, Rise allowed herself a small, grim smile. The die was cast. Whether the Conclave believed her bluff or not, humanity's fate now rested on a knife's edge. She touched the communicator on her wrist, speaking softly but firmly. "This is Ambassador Reyes. The message has been delivered. Initiate Operation Prometheus. Across the vast expanse of space, on hidden bases and secret shipyards, humanity's true strength stirred to life. The Galactic Conclave had 1 week to decide the fate of 1,000 worlds. The clock was ticking, and the stars themselves held their breath. Project Phoenix. Admiral Zachary Chen stood on the observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the countdown timer. 03-2143. 3 days, 21 hours, and 43 minutes until the Galactic Conclave's deadline expired. "Status report," he barked, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's future. His XO, Commander Amelia Santos, responded crisply, "All systems green. Admiral, the fleet is in position, and Project Phoenix is ready for deployment." Chen nodded, his expression grim. The past week had been a whirlwind of activity as Earth's hidden fleets emerged from their cosmic hiding places, assembling for what could be the most significant military action in human history. "Any word from diplomatic channels?" he asked, though he already knew the answer. Santos shook her head. "Nothing official, sir. The Conclave seems to be calling our bluff." A humorless chuckle escaped Chen's lips. More fool them. As the timer ticked down, Chen reflected on the years of preparation that had led to this moment. While the Conclave saw humans as primitive upstarts, they had grossly underestimated humanity's capacity for innovation and determination. Every slight, every restriction, every condescending interaction had only fueled Earth's resolve to prove itself. Deep within the lunar facility, Dr. Ilara Patel stood before the heart of Project Phoenix, a massive, pulsing sphere of energy contained within a web of exotic matter. The culmination of decades of research into quantum mechanics, dark energy manipulation, and transdimensional physics, Project Phoenix was humanity's trump card. "Final diagnostics complete," Dr. Patel reported over the comm. "Project Phoenix is operating at 100% efficiency. We're ready to rewrite the laws of physics on your command, Admiral." Chen allowed himself a small smile. "Excellent work, Doctor. Let's hope we don't have to use it." But hope, as it turned out, was in short supply. 12 hours before the deadline, long-range sensors detected a massive surge of hyperspatial energy. The Conclave, it seemed, had decided to launch a preemptive strike. Alarms blared throughout the lunar base as Chen strode onto the bridge of the HSS Defiant, Earth's most advanced warship. "Battle stations," he roared. "This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." The ship hummed to life around him, its crew a well-oiled machine honed by years of preparation for this very moment. As the first wave of Conclave ships emerged from hyperspace, Chen's voice rang out across the comms to the assembled human fleet. "Men and women of Earth, this is Admiral Chen. The moment we've prepared for is upon us. The Conclave thinks they're here to punish us, to put us in our place. Let's show them the true cost of underestimating humanity." The space between Earth and its moon erupted in a dazzling display of weapons fire. Conclave ships unleashed salvos of energy weapons and graviton torpedoes, expecting to quickly overwhelm the human defenses. But to their shock, many of their shots went wild, missing their targets entirely. "Quantum interference grid is holding, Admiral," Santos reported, a hint of pride in her voice. Their targeting systems are in disarray. Chen allowed himself a grim smile. Good. Commence Operation Hydra. The human fleet suddenly split apart, smaller, nimbler ships darting between the lumbering conclave vessels. Each human ship became a whirlwind of activity, jamming communications, disrupting shields, and firing pinpoint shots at critical systems. Aboard the conclave flagship, High Commander Zex Therrell raged as reports flooded in. Impossible. How are they predicting our movements? Why can't we lock onto their ships? The answer came in a devastating form. From the dark side of Earth's moon, hidden installations revealed themselves, unleashing a barrage of missiles. But these were no ordinary projectiles. As they approached the conclave fleet, they split apart, each warhead becoming a swarm of miniature drones. Nanite swarms detected. A conclave officer cried out in panic. They're breaching our hulls. Across the conclave armada, ships began to lose power as the nanites infiltrated their systems, disabling weapons, shields, and engines with terrifying efficiency. The carefully orchestrated attack turned into chaos as alien crews fought against an enemy they couldn't see or understand. Chen watched the battle unfold, his heart heavy despite their success. "Begin evacuation procedures," he ordered. "Get as many civilians off-world as we can." Santos looked at him in surprise. "Admiral, we're winning." "Why?" "This is just the first wave, Commander," Chen interrupted. "The conclave won't stop here. They'll be back, and in greater numbers." As if to punctuate his words, a massive energy signature suddenly flared at the edge of the solar system. A new wave of conclave ships began to emerge from hyperspace, led by a vessel that dwarfed even their largest battle cruisers. "Mother of God," Santos breathed. "What is that?" Chen's eyes narrowed. "That, Commander, is why we have a Phase 2. Send the signal to Luna Base. It's time to unveil Project Phoenix." Deep beneath the lunar surface, in a cavern shielded from all known forms of detection, Dr. Paddle received the transmission. With a deep breath, she initiated the final sequence. The massive sphere of energy at the heart of Project Phoenix pulsed once, twice, and then erupted in a blinding flash of light. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, to the astonishment of both human and conclave forces, Earth itself began to glow. A blue-white radiance quickly intensified to near-stellar levels. Gravitational sensors across the alien fleet screened warnings as space-time itself began to warp and twist. By the first ones, Zex Therrell breathed, his four eyes widening in horror. What have they done? In a blinding flash, Earth vanished. Where the cradle of humanity once stood, there was nothing but empty space. The conclave fleet, caught in the gravitational backlash, was thrown into disarray, ships colliding and weapons firing wildly in the chaos. Moments later, alarms blared across the alien armada. Earth had reappeared, but not where it had been. Somehow, impossibly, the entire planet had transported itself to the outskirts of the solar system. Aboard the Defiant, Shan allowed himself a moment of awe before snapping back to attention. Phase 1 complete. All ships, execute attack pattern Omega. Show no mercy. The human fleet, now appearing behind the scattered conclave forces, launched a devastating assault. Ships that had been modified in secret, their hulls now bristling with weaponry reverse-engineered from conclave technology, tore into the alien fleet with savage efficiency. As the battle raged, Chen opened a channel to the conclave flagship. High Commander Zex Therrell's face appeared on the screen, a mixture of fury and fear etched into his alien features. "You were warned," Chen said, his voice cold. "We told you our worlds would burn. Now witness the consequence of your choice." With a gesture, Chen cut the transmission. He turned to Santos, his eyes blazing with determination. "Prepare the fleet for Phase 3. It's time to take the fight to their doorstep." As the stars themselves seemed to tremble, humanity's war for survival and dominance of the galaxy had only just begun. Humanity unleashed. The galaxy trembled as news of Earth's impossible feats spread like wildfire across the cosmos. Humanity, the upstart species that had been dismissed as primitive and weak, had not only defeated the greatest armada ever assembled, but had also fundamentally altered the fabric of space-time itself. Admiral Zachary Chen stood on the bridge of the HSS Defiant, watching as the last remnants of the Conclave's invasion force fled or surrendered. The victory had been swift and decisive, but he knew the war was far from over. "Status report," he commanded, his voice hoarse from hours of issuing orders. Commander Amelia Santos, her uniform stained with soot from a close call during the battle, responded promptly. "The Conclave fleet is in full retreat, sir. We've captured over 30 of their capital ships and have begun analyzing their technology. Earth has successfully reintegrated into its original orbit, and civilian evacuations are proceeding as planned." Chen nodded, allowing himself a brief moment of satisfaction before focusing on the challenges ahead. "And Project Phoenix." Dr. Ilara Patel's voice came over the comm, tinged with excitement and exhaustion. "The core is stable, Admiral. We've successfully harnessed the energy of a collapsing pocket universe, giving us near-limitless power. But, sir, there's something else you need to see." Intrigued, Chen made his way to the science bay, where Dr. Patel stood before a holographic display of swirling energies and complex equations. As he entered, she turned to him, her eyes wide with wonder. "Admiral, Project Phoenix didn't just move Earth. It's altered our fundamental connection to the fabric of space-time. We can now create localized fields that allow us to manipulate the laws of physics themselves." Chen's brow furrowed as he processed the implications. "Explain." Patel gestured to the display, which shifted to show a simulation of a human ship surrounded by a shimmering field. "We can create bubbles where our technology operates at peak efficiency while enemy systems fail. We can accelerate time within a confined space, allowing us to outproduce and out-research any opponent. And most importantly, we can open stable wormholes to any point in the galaxy instantly." For a moment, Chen was speechless. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. "We've become gods." Patel shook her head, her expression serious. "Not gods, Admiral. Just humans who refuse to accept the limitations others try to impose on us." As the implications of their newfound power sank in, urgent reports began flooding in from across human space. The Conclave, reeling from their defeat at Earth, had launched desperate attacks against human colonies and outposts throughout the galaxy. Chen's eyes hardened as he issued orders to the fleet. "Deploy Phoenix generators to all major human settlements. I want defensive grids up yesterday." "Dr. Patel, how soon can we weaponize this technology?" "We already have, sir," Patel replied, bringing up schematics for a sleek, deadly-looking vessel. "Behold the Phoenix-class destroyer. Equipped with a miniaturized Phoenix core, it can alter local space-time to phase through enemy shields, teleport past defensive lines, and unleash weapons that defy the normal laws of physics." Chen nodded grimly. "Begin mass production immediately. It's time to take the fight to the Conclave's doorstep." Over the next few weeks, humanity unleashed its full potential upon the galaxy. Phoenix-equipped ships appeared seemingly out of nowhere in the heart of Conclave territory, striking with terrifying precision and vanishing before a response could be mustered. Human colonies once thought vulnerable became impregnable fortresses, protected by fields that warped the very nature of reality around them. On the Conclave capital world of Axis Prime, panic gripped the ruling council. High Commander Zex Therrell, once the architect of the campaign to subjugate humanity, now found himself fighting for his life and the survival of his civilization. "How is this possible?" he raged, smashing a holographic display of yet another devastating human attack. They were nothing. Primitives barely out of their Stone Age. A junior aide, trembling in fear, approached with a data slate. "High Commander, we've intercepted a transmission from the humans. It's addressed to you personally." Zex Therrell snatched the slate, his four eyes widening as he read its contents. With a snarl, he activated the central holographic projector. The image of Admiral Chen materialized before the assembled conclave leadership. "Greetings, High Commander." Chen's voice was cold, devoid of emotion. "I trust recent events have given you cause to reconsider your position regarding humanity's place in the galaxy." Zex Theral's mandibles clicked in barely contained fury. "What do you want, human? Have you come to gloat before destroying us all?" Chen's expression remained impassive. "Destruction was never our goal, High Commander. We sought only to be treated as equals, to be free to determine our own destiny. You forced our hand, and now you face the consequences of your actions." He paused, allowing his words to sink in. "But we are not like you. We do not seek domination or the eradication of other species. We offer you a choice. Surrender unconditionally, relinquish your hold over the subjugated races of the galaxy, and work with us to build a new order based on cooperation and mutual respect. Or continue this war and watch as your empire crumbles to dust." Zex Theral's eyes narrowed. "And why should we trust you? What guarantees do we have that you won't simply annihilate us once we've laid down our arms?" "Because, High Commander," Chen replied, a hint of weariness creeping into his voice, "despite everything you've done to us, we haven't lost our humanity. We remember the dream of peaceful coexistence that brought us to the stars in the first place. We're offering all species, a chance to be part of that dream." As the transmission ended, leaving the conclave leadership in stunned silence, Chen turned to face the command staff of the Defiant. "Prepare the fleet for our final push. With or without the conclave's cooperation, we're going to reshape the galaxy." Across human space, shipyards worked at impossible speeds, protected by Phoenix fields that accelerated time itself. New colonies sprang up overnight, connected by a network of stable wormholes that shrank the vast distances between stars to mere steps. And yet, even as humanity flexed its newfound powers, voices of caution emerged. The burden of their actions, the awesome responsibility of wielding such incredible forces, weighed heavily on the minds of Earth's leaders. As the fleet assembled for what might be the final battle of the war, Chen found himself standing once again on the observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha. Earth hung in the void before him, beautiful and fragile despite its recent journey through space and time. Commander Santos joined him, her expression thoughtful. "Do you ever wonder if we've gone too far, sir? If we've become what we once feared?" Chen was silent for a long moment before responding. "Every day, Amelia. But we can't go back. All we can do now is strive to be worthy of the power we've claimed, and hope that we can build something better than what came before." As if in answer to his words, a message flashed across the command console. Chen's eyes widened as he read its contents. "It seems the universe isn't finished surprising us," he murmured. "Sir?" Santos questioned. Chen turned to her, a mix of emotions playing across his face. "We're detecting a massive energy signature at the edge of the solar system. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." As they watched, a colossal structure shimmered into existence. It was a ring, large enough to encircle a star, composed of technology that made even Project Phoenix seem primitive by comparison. A transmission emanated from the ring, broadcasting on all frequencies in every known language. "People of Earth," a voice echoed, ancient and powerful. "Your trials have been observed, your potential recognized. You stand now at a crossroads. Will you use your newfound power to dominate, as those before you have done? Or will you become the shepherds of a new age, guiding the galaxy towards a future brighter than any single race could achieve alone?" As the message faded, Chen and Santos shared a look of awe and trepidation. The war with the Conclave suddenly seemed small in comparison to the choice that now lay before them. Humanity had been unleashed upon the stars. What they would become in the face of this new challenge would determine the fate of not just their species, but of all life in the galaxy. The next chapter of their cosmic journey was about to begin. The resistance rises, The appearance of the mysterious ring structure at the edge of Earth's solar system sent shockwaves through both human space and what remained of the Conclave's empire. As news spread, the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see how humanity would respond to this new development. Admiral Zachary Chen stood before the United Earth Council, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays showing the colossal ring. "Ladies and gentlemen, we stand at a crossroads. The entity behind this structure clearly possesses technology far beyond even our enhanced capabilities. We must decide how to proceed." Dr. Ilara Patel, now head of the newly formed Department of Xenotechnology, stepped forward. "Our initial scans of the ring are, well, frankly, they're mind-boggling. It appears to be a gateway of some kind, capable of generating stable wormholes on a scale we can barely comprehend. But more than that, it's radiating a form of energy we've never encountered before." The council chamber erupted in a flurry of questions and exclamations. Ambassador Elena Reyes, the woman who had delivered humanity's ultimatum to the Conclave months ago, raised her hand for silence. "We've received transmissions from across the galaxy," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. "The ring isn't just in our system. Similar structures have appeared in hundreds of star systems, many deep within Conclave space." Chen's eyes narrowed. A test, then, or an invitation? As the council debated their next move, events elsewhere in the galaxy were unfolding at a rapid pace. On Axis Prime, capital of the crumbling Conclave, High Commander Zex Therol faced a crisis of his own. "Impossible," he raged, his four eyes blazing with fury as he surveyed the reports flooding in. "How dare they?" His aide, Vexcor, cowered before him. "High Commander, please. The situation is spiraling out of control. Dozens of subjugated worlds have risen in open revolt. They're calling themselves the Galactic Liberation Front." Zex Therol's mandibles clicked in agitation. "Upstart humans, and they're meddling. This reeks of their influence." But as reports continued to pour in, it became clear that the situation was far more complex than a simple human-inspired rebellion. Species that had been ground under the Conclave's heel for millennia were rising up, wielding technologies that rivaled those of their former oppressors. On the desert world of Carthelis, avian Carthene rebels soared through the skies, their wings shimmering with energy fields that deflected Conclave weapons. In the crystal cities of Lux Prime, the silicon-based Luxarians phased through solid matter, sabotaging Conclave installations with casual ease. And on New Terra, the first human colony beyond Earth, a meeting was taking place that would reshape the course of galactic history. Captain Aria Zhang of the Phoenix-class destroyer HS Horizon stood before a gathering of alien representatives, each a leader in the burgeoning rebellion against the Conclave. The atmosphere was tense, filled with a mixture of hope and suspicion. "We didn't come here to replace one set of oppressors with another," Zhang stated, her voice firm. "Humanity extends its hand in friendship and alliance. Together, we can forge a new future for all species." Corvex, a towering insectoid Vexari, chittered skeptically. "Pretty words, human. But how can we trust you won't turn on us once the Conclave is defeated? Your kind has already displayed power beyond our comprehension." Zhang's expression softened, "because we remember what it was like to be powerless, to be deemed unworthy by those who saw themselves as our betters. We vowed never to inflict that pain on others." She gestured, and a holographic display sprang to life, showing the mysterious ring structure. "Besides, there are forces at work in our galaxy far greater than any single species. We'll need each other if we're to face whatever comes next." As discussions continued, a plan began to take shape. The Galactic Liberation Front would combine their unique abilities and technologies with humanity's Phoenix-enhanced fleets. Their target, the heart of Conclave power. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen received the transmission detailing the Alliance's battle plan. A ghost of a smile played across his lips as he turned to Commander Santos. "It seems our fellow galactic citizens have decided to take matters into their own hands," he mused. "Prepare the fleet, Commander. We're going to war alongside some very interesting allies. The next weeks saw a flurry of activity across both human and Liberation Front space. Phoenix technology was adapted to enhance the natural abilities of dozens of alien species. Luxurians phased entire starships through conclave blockades. Carthene pilots merged with their craft, becoming one with the void of space. As the combined fleet assembled for their final push against the conclave, Admiral Chen found himself aboard the HSS Defiant once more, surrounded by a bridge crew that now included representatives from a dozen alien species. "All ships report ready," Admiral Santos announced, her voice tinged with excitement and trepidation. Chen nodded, his eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of a Phoenix-generated wormhole that would take them to the heart of conclave space. "Send the signal. It's time to end this war and begin building something new." The journey through the wormhole was instantaneous, the vast fleet emerging in high orbit around Axis Prime. The conclave capital's orbital defenses, once thought impregnable, now seemed pitiful in the face of the combined might arrayed against them. As the battle began, it quickly became clear that the conclave was outmatched. Phoenix-enhanced ships danced through their defensive lines, while Liberation Front vessels employed tactics and technologies that the conclave had never seen before. Aboard his flagship, High Commander Zex Therrell watched in horror as his empire crumbled before his eyes. "How?" he whispered, his once imperious voice now thin and reedy. "How did it come to this?" The answer came in the form of a transmission, broadcast across all frequencies. Admiral Chen's face appeared on screens throughout the conclave fleet. "High Commander," Chen began, his tone somber rather than triumphant. "Your empire is finished, but it doesn't have to end in further bloodshed. Surrender now, and let us work together to build a galaxy where all species can thrive." For a long moment, silence reigned. Then, slowly, conclave ships began to power down their weapons. One by one, they transmitted their surrender. As the combined fleet moved to secure Axis Prime, alerts blared across every ship. The mysterious ring structures scattered throughout the galaxy had all activated simultaneously, their centers filling with swirling, iridescent energy. "Admiral," Dr. Patel's voice came over the comm, filled with awe and trepidation. "We're detecting massive energy surges from the rings. I think something's coming through." Chen shared a look with his diverse bridge crew, each face reflecting the mixture of fear and anticipation he felt. "All ships, maintain position. Whatever happens next will determine the future of not just humanity, but all sentient life in our galaxy." As the energy within the nearest ring coalesced, taking on a definite shape, Chen couldn't help but feel that they stood on the precipice of a new era. The war with the conclave had forged unlikely alliances and unlocked potential that no one could have imagined. But as the mysterious entity emerged from the ring, Chen realized that their greatest challenges, and perhaps their greatest opportunities, still lay ahead. The next chapter in the galaxy's history was about to unfold, and humanity, along with its new allies, would be at the center of it all. A new dawn. The swirling energy within the activated ring structures coalesced, taking form across hundreds of star systems simultaneously. Admiral Zachary Chen, along with representatives from the newly formed Galactic Alliance, watched in awe as beings of pure light emerged from the portals. These entities, shimmering with colors beyond human perception, addressed the assembled fleets in a language that resonated directly within the minds of all present. "Children of the cosmos," the thought voice echoed, filled with ancient wisdom and boundless compassion. "We are the Luminary, guardians of the galactic cycles. Your recent conflicts have drawn our attention, for they herald the dawn of a new era." On the bridge of the HSS Defiant, Chen shared a look of wonder with his diverse crew. Commander Amelia Santos voiced the question on everyone's mind. "What do you mean by galactic cycles?" The luminary's response painted a picture of cosmic scale that left even the most seasoned spacefarers breathless. They spoke of a galaxy that had seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations over billions of years. Each cycle brought forth new dominant species, new challenges, and new opportunities for growth. Your unity in the face of adversity. The luminary continued. Your ability to overcome ancient hatreds and forge alliances across the boundaries of biology and culture marks you as potential stewards of this new dawn. As the implications of these words sank in, the recently surrendered High Commander Zex Theral of the Conclave stepped forward, his once proud form now humbled. And what of those who have committed great wrongs? Is there a place for redemption in this new era you speak of? The luminary's response was tinged with what could only be described as cosmic compassion. The path to enlightenment is open to all who seek it earnestly. Your people's journey towards redemption may be long, but it is not impossible. Over the next days, as news of the luminary's appearance spread across the galaxy, a great council was convened on neutral ground, a massive space station constructed by the luminary themselves at the galaxy's central nexus. Representatives from every known sentient species gathered to shape the future of their shared cosmos. Admiral Chen found himself at the heart of these negotiations, working alongside former enemies and new allies alike. The challenges were immense: how to fairly distribute advanced technologies, how to protect the rights of less developed species, how to ensure that power would never again be concentrated in the hands of a single dominant group. Dr. Ilara Patel, leading a team of multi-species scientists, delved into the mysteries of luminary technology. It's not just advanced, she reported to Chen during a rare quiet moment. It's like they've tapped into the fundamental forces of the universe itself. The potential applications are, well, virtually limitless. But with great power came great responsibility, a fact that weighed heavily on Chen's mind as he addressed the Galactic Assembly. "We stand at a crossroads," he began, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. "The power we now wield, humanity, our allies, and yes, even our former adversaries, could reshape the very fabric of our galaxy. We could end scarcity, extend lifespans indefinitely, even create new worlds at will." He paused, letting his words sink in. But we must ask ourselves, at what cost? What gives us the right to play God? How do we ensure that in our quest for progress, we don't lose the very things that make us who we are? The debate that followed was passionate, spanning days as representatives from 1,000 worlds voiced their hopes, fears, and visions for the future. In the end, a consensus began to emerge, a middle path that would allow for growth and exploration, while preserving the diversity and unique cultures that made the galaxy so rich. The Galactic Covenant, as it came to be known, established a framework for cooperation and mutual support among all sentient species. Advanced technology would be shared, but with safeguards to prevent its misuse. A council of representatives from all worlds would oversee major decisions affecting the galaxy as a whole. Most importantly, the Covenant enshrined the principle of self-determination for all sentient beings. Never again would one species or group be allowed to dominate others against their will. As the final drafts of the Covenant were being prepared, Shen found himself standing before one of the massive viewports on the Luminary Station, gazing out at the star-studded expanse of the galaxy. His home, now in a way he had never imagined before. Ambassador Elena Reyes joined him, her expression thoughtful. "It's ironic, isn't it?" she mused. "We started this journey with a threat. Your worlds will burn. And now here we are, helping to forge a future brighter than anything we could have dreamed." Chen nodded, a small smile playing at his lips. "We've come a long way from being the upstart species fighting for recognition. Sometimes I wonder if we're ready for the responsibility we've taken on." "Perhaps that's why we're ready," a new voice interjected. They turned to see Zex Theral approaching, the former conclave leader looking both humbled and determined. "Because you question whether you're worthy of such power, rather than simply seizing it without thought." The three stood in companionable silence for a moment, former enemies now united in a common cause. The symbolism was not lost on Chen, human, conclave, and the countless other species now working together to shape their shared destiny. As if sensing the weight of the moment, one of the luminary materialized beside them, its radiant form casting a soft glow across the viewport. "The path ahead will not be easy," it communicated, its thought voice filled with both warning and encouragement. "You will face challenges that will test the bonds you forge. But remember this moment. Remember that you are stronger together than you ever were apart." With a gesture that somehow conveyed both finality and new beginnings, the luminary activated the station's central beacon. A pulse of energy rippled out across the galaxy, linking the ring structures in a network that would allow for instantaneous travel and communication between even the most distant stars. As the assembled representatives watched in awe, the message encoded in that pulse reached every world, every ship, every sentient being across the vast expanse of the galaxy. A new dawn has broken. The stars are no longer your limit. Together, we shape the future. Back on Earth, crowds gathered in cities around the world to watch the live stream from the Galactic Assembly. As the covenant was formally ratified, cheers erupted across the planet that had so recently stood alone against the cosmos. In orbit, the HSS Defiant prepared for its next mission, no longer a warship, but a vessel of exploration and diplomacy. Commander Santos approached Chen as he boarded the ship, curiosity in her eyes. "So, Admiral," she asked, "where do we go from here?" Chen's gaze turned towards the view screen, where the glittering expanse of the galaxy beckoned. A smile, full of wonder and determination, spread across his face. "Everywhere, Commander," he replied. "We go everywhere." As the Defiant's engines hummed to life, preparing to enter the luminous portal of the nearest ring structure, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of infinite possibility. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through conquest or subjugation, but by extending a hand in friendship and rising to meet the challenges thrown their way. The journey that had begun with a defiant warning, "Your worlds will burn," had led to something far greater. A galaxy united, burning not with the fires of destruction, but with the brilliant light of cooperation, discovery, and hope. As the ship entered the portal, Chen knew that whatever lay ahead, humanity and its allies would face it together. The greatest adventure in the history of all sentient life was just beginning. The stars, once distant and unreachable, now felt like home.